I'm J.M. Hirsch, and it once again is time to belly up to the Milk Street Bar. Today we're going to talk about how to sweeten our cocktails. Almost every cocktail has some element of sweet to it. It might be a sugary liqueur, such as the orange liqueur that you add to a margarita. It could be the fruit in a sangria. It could be the orange juice in a mimosa. But more often than not, it's actually kind of boring. It's just simple syrup, which is just a mix of sugar and water. But, sweetness is actually really important to a cocktail because just like food, cocktails taste best when their flavors are balanced, and sweetness has a big role in this. Imagine a sour cocktail without something sweet to bring it into balance. But using sugar on its own to sweeten a cocktail is a missed opportunity to craft a better drink. At Milk Street, both in our baking and in our drinking, we like to make our sweeteners do double duty. We like to pick alternative sweeteners, such as honey and maple syrup or brown sugar, that are going to add flavor as well as sweetness. Now, one of my favorite alternative sweeteners to use in cocktails is actually jams, because they're not just adding sweetness, they're adding fruitiness, and they're also adding a viscosity, kind of a body to the finished cocktail. So to see how this works, let's make a classic highball cocktail that's perfect for summer, a Raspberry Lime Rickey. So the Rickey started life actually as a bourbon drink. It was little more than bourbon and lime juice. There wasn't sweetener in it. And over the years, it became a gin-based cocktail. Although, in fact, when I was a kid, I used to go down to the ice cream shop downtown and get a virgin version of the Raspberry Lime Rickey. I think I prefer this one. Anyway, so I have 3 ounces of gin in my cocktail shaker, to which I am going to add about a tablespoon of raspberry jam. Now, this is where you have an opportunity to play with your cocktail, because you can use strawberry jam, you could use strawberry rhubarb jam, you could use blueberry jam, you could use anything that gets you going, and it's going to taste delicious. But we're going to stick with tradition for this one, and we're going to use raspberry jam. I am going to add a couple drops of angostura bitters, because bitters are often, they're kind of like the salt of the cocktail world. They round out the flavors of anything they touch. All right, so I've got some bitters in there. I've got 3 ounces of gin. I've got about a tablespoon of raspberry jam, and then, of course, the key ingredient is an ounce of lime juice. I'm going to add that in. There we go. And then I'm going to put in some ice. Oops, I always get one that runs. And you're going to want to shake this good and hard, because we need to break up that jam. We need to get the viscosity out of it. We just, really need to mix it into the other ingredients. So give it a really good shake. All right, I think we got it. All right, now we're going to take our highball. We're going to add ample ice. Now, I'm not a big fan of a lot of ice in a cocktail, but this is one of those cases where you do want a lot of ice. And we're going to take our cocktail strainer, and we're going to double strain our drink right into the ice. Sometimes the mesh strainer will clog like this, and that's okay. Just grab your cocktail spoon and give it a bit of a stir, and you'll get it in. Leave the pulp and any seeds behind. That's the other thing. It doesn't matter whether you use jam with seeds in it or not, because you're double straining it, so it's going to be fine. And then we're going to top it off with a little bit of club soda. And we're going to call that good. Put a straw in it, and you have a delicious summer sipper. Now, alternative sweeteners are something that's easy to play with in just about any cocktail you make. The next time you make let's say a gin and tonic, instead of using tonic water, which has sweetener in it, use seltzer water, which has no sweetener, and instead mix a little honey into your gin and maybe even muddle a cucumber. Alternatively, if you're more of an old-fashioned drinker, make a simple syrup using brown sugar instead of the more traditional simple syrup, or say even a sugar cube, which is also traditional for an old-fashioned, and use the brown sugar simple syrup to make your old-fashioned. It's going to change the way you appreciate that drink. It's going to change the flavor profile of the drink, and it's a great way to have fun when making cocktails. So cheers to a Raspberry Lime Rickey, and using alternative sweeteners that add flavor as well as sweetness.